Hey everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel, where we'll bring you the most positive highlights from this week at ILTV. Get ready to smile because coming up, the Israel Antiquities Authority unveils landmark artifacts connecting the ancient and the modern Israel together. A soccer superstar, Lionel Messi, is teaming up with an Israeli company to help people see the difficulties of the visually impaired. And a Jewish mother's dream come true. Finally, no more need to wait for your kids to find love on their own. Stay tuned for more. The Israeli Antiquities Authority unveiling a massive find in Jerusalem's Armon HaNatziv, or Commissioner's Palace Promenade.
Looking into the past now 2,700 years, Israeli Antiquities Authorities are in the holy capital of Jerusalem, digging up the remains of what they believe to be a large royal estate. And the artifacts are in rare and incredibly preserved condition.
This is the time between the Assyrian assault on Jerusalem and the time of the Babylonian conquest. In the course of the excavation, our greatest surprise was when I heard the digging vessels scraped on a large stone, and when we brushed it clean, it was the most beautiful decoration I believe ever found of the capitals decorated in that manner from the First Temple period. And we had a great surprise when, after removing that ornamented capital, we found a second one immediately underneath it. Oh, הנה עוד אחד.
מה?
עוד אחד. עוד אחד. זה מבצע אחד פלוס אחד.
But wait, there's more. The soft limestone capitals being just some of many awesome ornaments found.
The experts say that they are the most beautiful in their composition, in their execution of masonry and design. We're very lucky to have them preserved in this manner. We have mini capitals decorating a window, a base of a beautifully ornamented pillar. On top of it, we can put this decorative capital. The sill was on top of that. I would call that late Iron Age Windows operating system.
Culture Minister Hili Troper and excavation lead Yaakov Bilig explaining how these capitals reflect the revival of the Holy City after the Assyrian siege in 701 BCE, comprising of villas and mansions and government buildings built upon the hilltop. And this while also touching on the roots of the Jewish people by connecting the old to the new in brilliant fashion.
And it's not by chance that on the 5-shekel coin, we have the impression of the capital just as found in these excavations. Something unique from the kingdom of Judea 2,700 years ago, imprinted on a modern coin in the modern state of Israel.
And moving on, the first Israeli baseball player to be drafted into the major leagues has made his debut for the Baltimore Orioles, and he threw a winning pitch. Dean Kramer led the Orioles to a 5-1 win over the New York Yankees, only finding out he would be throwing the pitch the night before. Kramer is 24 years old and was born in California to Israeli parents, and he had a special message for all his fans watching from overseas.
I mean, it's awesome being able to hold the torch, so to speak, for guys like me. I mean, although I was born in America, I have been to Israel every year for a certain amount of time, but and then giving back when we go over there running camps and doing stuff like that. It's nice to see the competition over there getting better every year, and just trying to show that it's possible. אני שמח שיכולתי לזרוק טוב היום, ואני מתגעגע אליכם, ואני רוצה לראות אתכם.
תודה אחי, מזל טוב.
תודה רבה.
All right, well, if you've spent any time in Tel Aviv during the summer months, chances are you've stopped by Anitas ice cream shop. This little boutique ice cream parlor has become a must-visit spot for fridgophiles visiting the White City. Yes, that's a lover of cold or frosty things. And after their international debuts in Australia and Puerto Rico, they're taking their show to the Big Apple. That's right, a New York branch has just opened up, and it's perfectly located near Central Park. This branch has been in the works for about 3 years, according to the chain's owners, and they're excited to share their signature flavors with the American crowd. Flavors like Cookie Man, meringue and chocolate pistachio, and of course, watermelon and mint. They'll also be adding some new friends to the mix: peanut butter and jelly, pretzel milk chocolate, and even crack pie. So prepare your palates, people. And for those of you who can't make it out to Israel or the States just yet, don't worry. According to Adia Vital, one of the chain's owners, they'll be continuing to expand with their sights set on new places like Lisbon, Barcelona, London, and even New Zealand. According to research by Tel Aviv University, Israeli sea creatures are being contaminated by pharmaceuticals. A study showing various marine life forms from 10 different research sites located along Israel's coastlines were found to have a significant concentration of medical drug residue within their systems. Professor Noah Shankar, who headed the study, says there could be irreversible ecological damage that would harm the fish themselves as well as those who eat fish. And if you thought flying cars were a figment of your imagination, think again. Israeli company Urban Aeronautics is developing exactly that. In fact, that vehicle is so close to being market ready, and the company has big plans. They've already signed a deal to create the first ambulance in the sky. The company announcing earlier this month that it signed an agreement with the US-based emergency air response service, Hatzalah Air, to develop, produce, and market its City Hawk aircraft for emergency medical service applications. All right, this next item is for all you soccer fans out there. An Israeli company has recruited none other than Lionel Messi as spokesman for technology that helps the blind to read. Orcam Technologies, based in Jerusalem, makes an AI-based wearable device that gives a deeper understanding of texts to the visually impaired with audio assistance. The company will offer to arrange meetings with Messi for blind people around the world. Orcam says they hope the partnership will increase awareness of challenges faced by the visually impaired community, which numbers more than 300 million people all over the world. Take a look.
Hola, Arense. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien.
Bien. Te voy a presentar a un amigo. Mira.
Hola.
¿Todo bien?
Bien.
Te voy a poner el aparato, Orcam, el dispositivo, que te dirá en su momento quién tienes delante, ¿vale?
Leo Messi.
Are your kids having trouble finding the one? Well, a dating app takes us back to the good old days of letting your parents handle it. Do you want grandchildren, but your kids are taking their sweet time? Well, a new dating app is here for you. It's called Just Kibbutz, and it's made especially for Jewish mothers. That's right, no need to wait for your kids to set up their own, let's face it, doomed to fail dates. Now you can take control and set them up yourself. The site was created by Jeffrey Kaplan because, as he said in an interview with the Atlanta Jewish Times, he has a single brother, and if he can't find him a nice Jewish girl to date, their mom is just gonna plotz. And he sure milks this Jewish mother humor. He goes on to say that other dating sites are using AI technology and algorithms to find their matches. But that's mashugana. This site is powered by maternal intelligence, which, as we all know, is far more accurate and active than any AI. The site also emphasizes a no-pressure policy for the datees. Mom can prepay for the date, so all they have to do is show up. Now for the bad news. If this sounds like exactly what you've been looking for, don't get too excited just yet. The site hasn't gone live, but it's coming soon, and in the meantime, it is open for pre-signups. A warning from Kaplan, though, be careful. This may lead to adorable grandchildren. Moving on, for the millions of patients worldwide taking advantage of the burgeoning medical cannabis market, the biggest problem, apart from getting the prescription itself, can often be finding a strain of cannabis that works best. Well, a new and unique research approach is suggesting that you should leave these decisions to the fish. Israeli researchers now believing that they can speed up the process of testing different types of cannabis therapies using zebrafish. And they've already used the zebrafish system to identify the potential benefits of certain cannabis strains on those suffering from sleep problems, seizures, Parkinson's, and pain. Apparently, using the fish is easier than other standard animal models because zebrafish have a similar brain structure to ours, only more simple. That and their brain activity is easier for the researchers to study, as it isn't hiding behind a pesky skull. The new research is being conducted by Israeli scientists from the Migal Galilee Research Institute and Canonic, a subsidiary of computational biology company Evogene. With only approximately 500 female green turtles and 2,000 loggerhead turtles left in the Mediterranean, sea turtles in the region are officially endangered, and pollution, overfishing, predators, and other man-made obstacles are killing what numbers they have left. Luckily, though, there are organizations out there trying their best to protect these majestic creatures, the Israel Nature and Parks Authority being one of them. Each year, starting around May, sea turtles lay their eggs on Israeli beaches. And come August, those very beaches become home to hundreds of tiny turtles. Unfortunately, not all the baby turtles will make it to the water's edge, and of those, only a fraction make it into adulthood. This is where the Israel Nature and Parks Authority comes in. Once the nests are made, Parks Authority members will scour the beaches, locating and moving these nests to safer locations. Once the babies are ready to start their long journey to the water, they'll dig themselves out of their almost 3-foot deep nests. And sometimes this on its own can prove too much for some of the turtles. So Parks Authority members will come around a few days post-hatch and dig down just to make sure everyone's made it out. And sometimes they'll find a straggler or two. The journey then begins, the long walk along the beach being an important step on its own, allowing the turtle to imprint on this exact beach so that it knows where to come back to when it's ready to lay eggs of its own. Now our next story is about an amazing program that ILTV's Aaron Porras was lucky enough to take part in. We're talking about medical clowning and the Clownbulance, and they need our help.
For a decade, Shemesh, aka Smadar Harpak, has been working in a very special profession, medical clowning. And taking to the pediatric oncology wings of Israel, Shemesh and her colleagues bring joy and, more importantly, normal humanity to a place that needs it most. But then taking things one step further 5 years ago, Shemesh the clown devised of another idea, to introduce a program that's 1 part clown, 1 part make-a-wish, and 1 billion parts awesome, the Clownbulance, a vehicle to take sick kids for a personalized dream outing that they'll never forget.
בדיוק כמו שיש אמבולנס שמטפל בגוף, ככה הליצנבולנס מטפל בנשמה. אחרי שנים של עבודה באונקולוגית ילדים, שהרגשתי צורך להוציא אותם מבית החולים, מהמציאות של חולי, ליום של חלום, ליום של פנטזיה, בשביל לתת להם כוחות להמשך הדרך.
The problem now, though, is that the dream doctors are in some trouble of their own, and they themselves are in need of our help to keep operations going.
יום הגשמת חלום עם הליצנבולנס הוא יום להזכיר למשפחה הזאת שהילד שלהם הוא לא המחלה. הוא הילד שהיה קודם, ואת המחלה אנחנו ננצח כדי שהוא יחזור וכל המשפחה תחזור להיות המשפחה שהם היו קודם. התקווה שלי עם הליצנבולנס היא שאני לא אצטרך להגיד לאף ילד לא.
So that's why they've just set up a JGive donations account, and you can help by visiting clownbulance.com.
Walking around the streets of pretty much any city in Israel, you'll come across stray cats. But sometimes a restaurant or business will unofficially take ownership of their regulars, and the Israeli parliament is apparently no different. Now, there have always been stray cats wandering around the Knesset grounds, but lately they've taken to actually entering the building. And this has raised an eye or two, as well as some complaints. So Knesset Director Sami Baklash reached out to Environmental Chief Tamar Bar-On for help. Rather than shooing them off, though, they since set up a feline feeding area and brought in local vets to spay and neuter them, as well as take care of any other medical needs that may arise. As for why, well, according to Baklash, these cats are an important link in the ecological balance of the facility and they must be cared for. Israeli medical testing is taking to the skies like never before, the Nano Satellite Dido-3 being launched into Earth's orbit. The project, a collaboration between Israeli Space Agency, the Italian Space Agency, Israel's Sheba Medical Center, and Israeli company Space Pharma, marks one of the world's first projects of its kind, launched by a hospital. And it's focusing its attention on research and development in microgravity, specifically looking for ways to fight the growing threat of drug-resistant bacteria, which according to the UN is expected to claim the lives of at least 10 million people by 2050. Well, to do so, the satellite carries with it 4 autonomous experiments in the field of medicine, biology, and chemistry, as well as 53 micro and nano satellites from a dozen different countries. And now let's take a look at ILTV's interview with the organizers of the Startup Boot Camp. Take a look.
Tel Aviv is hosting a startup boot camp where innovation is the name of the game. Hundreds of aspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and job seekers will have 24 hours to brainstorm and workshop more than 100 startup ideas. And it's all happening next week. Yossi Dan joins me now to explain the idea behind this event. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell us, how did you develop this idea? Why did you decide to start this event?
We are doing boot camps for years, with big companies, Danone, Nestle, Google, for many years in Israel, physical events. And then we have all faced, the COVID crisis. And we knew that 1 million Israelis are stuck at home. We decided to move our events to something online. And this is what we are doing.
So it's way more accessible for everyone now, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, so take me through the day. What is going to happen during the event? How does it work?
Okay, so it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
Beside the break for the night.
Yeah.
But we begin at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Until 6 p.m. on the second day.
Okay.
And we have all the steps from the ideation and working on the product and on the solution and on the marketing and on the pitch. At the end of the day, we'll have the best teams in front of big investors that will present their ideas.
And there's mentors working with them along the way?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
It's actually, 24 hours. We have a fantastic support from the ecosystem. So we do have more than 20 partners and more than 50 mentors.
Wow.
That will actually escort the teams. So the teams, every time that we have our 5 sprint sessions where we work with the entrepreneurs, the teams are just escorted by dozens of mentors that took from their time to come pro bono. Everything is free and pro bono to help those people.
Can you give us maybe some examples of some of the mentors that are going to be part of the program, maybe from some high-profile startups in Israel?
So I can tell you first that we have, our big partners. Google for startups,
wow.
WeWork, Microsoft for startups, or Crowd. So all those big, names
all the big ones.
come with the startups. So what I do like is that we do have also, the Israeli startups that grow, all those unicorns alike. So I can say now that we'll have people from Fiverr, from Wix, wow. and others that will come and support the aspiring entrepreneurs.
So these entrepreneurs, when they sign up for this event, do they have to come with an idea sort of already formed in their mind, or are they doing everything as a part of this workshop?
So this is a good question, Lauren, because we wanted to make it very, very open. So people come as they are. Some of them have ideas, and we know how to work with, and some of them don't have some ideas. And we help them to decide, we help them to team up and have, those people being able to work with others on the ideas. So it's very, very open. And we wanted also to have Olim, to have job seekers, not only the hackers, coders, the ones that usually do it. Right. We want to open that to the world market. We know that we have 1 million Israelis stuck at home without salaries. So we are the light side of this crisis. We want to initiate 100 new startup projects.
So you want to initiate 100 new projects in 24 hours. I mean, to me, that sounds very ambitious. Why 24 hours? And do you think that it's going to happen?
So we did it before.
Okay.
We did it before, not in that scale, of
okay.
course, not in that scale. We cannot, it's not launching startups, of course, but we can actually do early validation on startup ideas. All those people don't have attention from those investors and big companies. So we wanted to come pro bono for a free event and give them during 24 hours the attention that they deserve. And after those 24 hours, they will have lots of information for them to decide if they jump into it or not yet, or anything they decide.
Right.
And those 24 hours are usually enough to make those decisions.
So if our viewers, say, want to get involved in this event, is it too late? And how can they get more information about it?
Okay, so we are actually opening together with ILTV. We are opening our big registration period 3 days until Tuesday midnight. People can apply, come to our website and click on apply. They can apply as individual if they are alone, or they can apply as a team. And actually I have a small tip. When you apply as a team, it's way better to be accepted as a participant. So even if this is, with colleagues, friends, potential future co-founders, come as a team is way better.
Well, I hope our viewers that are interested in participating listened to your tip, Yossi Dan. Thank you so much and best of luck with this.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
And that's all for today's Good Week Israel. I hope we've helped you start your week off with a smile. I'm Nittany Manson. I'll see you next week.